several outdoor sculpture installations. Okay, there's two big ones that are out there right now. The Collaborative Concepts project at Tilly Foster Farm is up until October 31st. And basically, these are all things that you can go to and socially distance, not a problem. Tilly Foster Farm has a farm to table restaurant there. So if you want to make reservations for dinner, you can do that. They also have a Sunday brunch, and their menu looks scrumptious. So I haven't tried it, but it looks really good. So basically, we're going to go to the farm project, and I went to Storm King this past week, which was really spectacular. I mean, this time of year, the shots I went at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the raked light across those sculptures was just phenomenal. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of jump into this project, and let's see. Here we go. So this is actually the setup for the farm project is on 2 fields. This is actually the 15th year that I believe it's the 15th year that this project has gone on. In the past, it was at a place called Saunders Farm, which is in Garrison, New York. This is in Brewster, and this is actually a active farm. You know, they've got I believe they've got sheep and chickens. I saw the chickens, and I don't know what else they've got there, but it's really great. And these are installation shots of the fields where the 2 fields where the sculpture is. One of the things about this is it's much more accessible. Saunders Farm was built on really steep hills where the cows would range along. There's no cows here, so you don't have to worry about that, because that was a worry at Saunders. You had to watch out where you're walking. But this is really the first year that they've done this. And many of the pieces were created just for this show. They are experimental materials. The artists are taking chances. They're fooling around with stuff. They're trying different things. Many of them are really topical. They are timely pieces. They're transient. Unlike some place like Storm King, which is monumental and built to stand forever. Some of these pieces are made for this particular show, and they're gone.
Just as an addendum, yes. Just got a note that they also have llamas there.
Oh, they have llamas. Okay, excellent. We love llamas. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to go on to, here we go. So when I came there, I came at about 4 o'clock, and oh, wait a minute, go back, previous. What I want to do is get the zoom. This particular piece just like knocked me out right away, and I had to walk up to it to make sure that they hadn't changed the tone of the color painted on the sculpture, because I looked at it and it was like, that red is a totally different red. When I walked up to it and looked at it, it was like, hey, this is all that candy apple red. It's amazing what it does in that particular light. So it's something worth looking at. Let's see. And then this piece is again, it's very transient. This is on made on debris netting with craft yarn. Beautiful translucent quality to it. It ripples in the wind and all that. I did some videos, but my Nikon camera doesn't have an anti-shake thing on it, so the videos weren't worth using. But it was an interesting project.
Larry?
Yes.
Could you tell us the names of the artists for each piece?
Yeah, it's listed right there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this piece was made by Inez and Druzek, and let's see if I've got some. Times are stormy as Corona and the internet viruses attack factual truth, health, and human rights. So these pieces are all, you know, many of them are really dealing with what's going on at the moment. They keep moving. So I know Jim Lloyd, he's always tinkering around in the junkyards and coming up with some interesting things that'll shake around in the wind. Let's see. Okay. And, you know, I mean, I don't love being around the queen bee, but she's certainly imposing. The piece, the rig piece that's made of driftwood and sailcloth is beautiful. The way it turns around in the wind and stuff like that. Again, I took videos of it, but they didn't turn out well. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it and go see it. Okay. Okay. So this piece, this pod piece, is just amazing to see when you know, basically can see the translucent rubber pomegranate seeds, or whatever you want to call them, in there are just, they're really interesting. And there were, like, you know, spiders that had taken up homes in this thing, and it's a very interesting piece. Again, I don't know if this one was specifically made up for this spot, but it's really a lovely piece and well crafted. Okay, so I'm madly in love with the sheep. I mean, they made these things out of steel wool, for crying out loud. You know, it's like they fit into the setting. I mean, you know, the sheep on the farm. Okay, the whole shtick is there. They're really fun. And then we've got this wacky comic book hero over here on the right. Let's see. Next. Okay. And now this stainless steel piece is really, you know, the texture of it and things like that. You can see some of it. You can see how, you know, the buffing of the surface and all that. And there's also these pieces of glass that are in there, these stained glass pieces, which, when you catch the light in the right way, again, it would help if you were there to see it. You really need to get or walk around the thing and get it from different angles when the light is hitting it in different ways. Now, the piece on the left, I believe, I mean on the right, is made with nylon, ripstop nylon, I believe, patchwork, and, you know, is really interactive with the breezes on the farm and all that. Okay. And okay, so I'll start with the whirligig on the left. it looks like it should turn, but it doesn't. um, really fun though. Great buoyant color, nice textures and forms. And then we have our Grim Reaper, who unfortunately is also pretty timely. It's funny, it's wacky, and it's also, you know, timely. The piece on the right is a really gorgeous, solid piece. It's very reminiscent of a totem. It's got a really beautiful quality to it. It's very nicely crafted, burnt in to the wood. And this one, I don't think was made for this particular spot. It just fits really well. Let's see. Okay. Now, the piece on the left is really dazzling when the wind blows through. Those plastic braids sort of shift in the wind. You can get inside the thing and look around from inside of it and all of that. It's a really well done piece in that respect, because it's very active. And the earthworm is creepy, but a definite statement. I mean, not my favorite thing to be around, but it definitely, you know, it's well done. The fellow who created the piece is in Europe, so had it installed by a whole crew that came in and put it in. Well done piece of its kind, if you could stomach it. Okay, so the C²X piece is plywood. It actually does move. These pieces catch the wind and they shift around. When I was up there at the farm, they had a windstorm and a couple of the pieces had been knocked down. So I didn't see it in this state. I just took this off of the website. But it's beautiful color and really, you know, an interesting concept, because it shifts around. As it shifts around, the relationship between the X and O and all that change. And then we've got this stainless piece. This is a really nice shot. When I was there, the light was not quite right, so I didn't really see it the way we're seeing it in this. So I borrowed this from the website, but it's a you know, it's a well done piece. Again, the artist chose this site. He really wanted it to interact with that fence that way. So okay, and so this is on the left is Joanne Brody's piece, and on the right in the picture is Joanne Brody. Joanne is actually the president or coordinator of the collaborative concepts, and so she works tirelessly to put these things together, or maybe tired, putting these things together. She really is somebody who deserves a lot of credit for the tenacity with which she takes things on. her piece on the left is really this red, white, and blue interracial, intercultural mix, which is truly what her family is. She adopted Black and Asian children, and it's a really interesting family, and so is America. So, so on the right, Joanne is looking at this Indian Brook Falls piece. This shot may not be the best shot of this piece. It definitely went through, when the windstorm came, you can see all those rocks at the base of it. There were some problems with it flying up in the air and moving around. So that comes with the territory doing a show like this. Okay, and the next piece is actually one of my favorites that's in the show, because this you can't see it now because it has been taken down. Notice how the grass is all burnt out in front of it. Well, they had to take it down because the grass kept catching fire from the mirror. When the sun was in the right position, this thing was catching fire. So you actually can't go and see it. So enjoy what you're seeing on screen, because it's a really interesting piece. You know, you get all the distortions. You can actually see Joanne and I. Let me see if I can get a pointer here. Let's see, pointer. Yeah, here we go. You can see Joanne and I standing here, and it has quite a slimming effect. We like that. So one of the aspects of it is this distorted mirror, but also the way that the light shifts as the sun shifted. It really was a spectacular piece and a great idea. They just needed a fire engine around. So let's see. Okay. So I'm going to keep moving because we got a lot to cover. So if you look at this piece, keep your social distance. The wingspan on the bird is actually social distancing. So, and then again, the piece on the right, this transient business of sheltering in place. These folks during the lockdown were playing around with creating structures on their property and stuff like that were kind of shelters. So sheltering in place. It's an interesting piece, and again, this one is rather interactive as far as the wind is concerned. These things flap around on it and stuff like that. But here we have it. Okay. The piece on the right is called Stoic. It's very stable. It's a really beautiful piece in that, the use of the grain of wood and the directionality of the grains of wood give you these really different textures on it and shift how you see the thing. It's again, a good one to walk around. And, I don't know what the dream was about, but I like penguins.
Larry, I just have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
When a sculpture has two artists, how do they divide up the work?
They don't.
That's clear.
I guess they adopted at different times.
Well, authors have some issues when two authors write one book.
I hear you. Well, I guess they have to work that out. We'll have to ask them.
Got it.
So again, the piece on the left is called Prayer. On the rigging that's around the figure were all these prayer flags, some of which have been blown away, but you know, basically, again, the idea of the what we need at this stage of the game are a lot of prayers. And then on the right, on this theme of things turned upside down, things topsy-turvy, of you know, basically this, you know, we're dealing with some definite alterations in how we operate. It's a beautiful piece, though. I mean, when you actually do get to see this thing, the roots, and as you walk around it, the way the textures of the thing, it's fascinating. From a purely, you know, observational point of view, it's a lovely and intriguing piece. I'd like to spend more time with it. Okay, and you know, some of the pieces could be anywhere. You know, the winter piece. It's beautiful. It's organic. It fits in with the nature of the place, but it certainly wasn't built for here. And the tree, on the other hand, when the artist was asked to put a piece in, he said, well, let me walk around and look at the place. And he found this branch that had fallen down and crashed through the fence, painted it black, and that's his piece. Okay. And the piece on the left is definitely one that you have to see, because these you know, they're all moving around constantly. You know, it's reused plastic. It's all kinds of junk, but these birds kind of shift around in the wind. It's a very active piece. Summer house. Okay. Next. Okay, so and the top piece, stop, look, and listen, especially listen at this time, is a good one. But it has really resonant meaning for the artist. This piece is actually carved out of bluestone, and it really is a lovely piece. And you really have to look for this one, because it's embedded in the ground, and if you don't know you're looking for it, you might pass right by it. So you need one of the maps to find it. And again, Collaborative Concepts is the organization, and if you go to collaborativeconcepts.org, there's a map on the website and all of that. You do need to call, if you're going to go to Tilly Foster Farm, you do need to call and make reservations and all of that, especially if you're going to do the Sunday brunch. They are, you know, they have outdoor dining and all that. If the weather is good, go for it. And on the right, you see the installations happening. You know, the artists and installers putting the pieces in place. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you could hear me? Okay.
Yes.
What are you doing in the tree?
What?
Is that you? Yeah, that's you, Larry. Which is
Where? No, that wasn't me.
That's not you?
That's not me.
Oh, shocking.
That's installing the queen bee.
Got it. And another question, are the grounds, do you need to make appointments or reservations to look at the art?
No, it's free and open to the public, and basically all you need to do is social distancing and masks.
Okay.
And there's not, when I was there were maybe, I saw maybe 5 or 10 people come through.
Oh, that's good to know.
So there's not a lot of people there, and there's plenty of room to social distance and all that. So it's a great thing for social distancing.
Yes, and the weather on Saturday is supposed to be lovely, so
The weather's
something to do.
wonderful. There you go.
And I really thank you, because it's nice to have some activity, follow-up activity outside where we could all feel safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are now going to move on to the big boys. Not to diminish what this is, because this is experimental. It's really, these artists are career artists, and all of them have done really beautiful work. So I'm not going to take anything away from them, but it's much more transient than what we're going to go to and look at Storm King.
Okay,
Go
just
ahead.
another note about the Tilly's Farm. They do have picnic tables, somebody wrote.
Yes. Yes. Great. Okay. So yeah, it is also a county park. So that the land is actually a Putnam County park. So they actually were very supportive of this, and I know Joanne was really thrilled with the support that they got from the county on this. Okay, and we're going to go on. Okay, so basically what we've got here is a giant Alexander Calder. And as you can see on the right, the light was just spectacular. This thing is gigantic. It's 50 feet tall. It's 41 feet wide. It is a gorgeous piece. You know, I mean, basically, a lot of the time while I was walking around there, I felt like I landed in that scene from Jurassic Park when the guys are walking around among those dinosaurs grazing in the grasses. It is astonishing and spectacular. I'll do a brief history of Storm King. You know, basically, it's an open air museum located in Mountainville. If any of you haven't been there, you got to go. Even if you've been there, if you haven't been there within the last 5 years, everything changes. They change things around. They relocate sculptures. They move pieces. So it's always a different experience. And this time of year is just amazing. You know, the color and all that is really coming up. So the museum was founded in 1960. Originally, the intent was to create a museum for the Hudson River School. And it was, let's see, the site was approximately 500 acres when they first located it there. This guy by the name of Ralph Ogden, you know, purchased the thing, which was to become Storm King Art Center. It's now 180. Let's see. It started out as 180 acres, but now it's gigantic. It's even bigger than that. It's a 500 acre plot, but it's also a state park. So what happened in the 60s is there were 13 pieces of small sculpture that were donated. And so that's where the idea of the sculpture park started to take root. Mark de Souvreau, who was a abstract sculptor who we'll get to in a moment. As a matter of fact, let's see if we can.
Well, Larry.
Yes, go ahead.
Before you go past them, we have a question.
Okay.
About
away.
The arch. They would like to know if the arch was designed specifically for Storm King.
No, not in this case. There are many pieces which have been commissioned for the park, but these pieces that I'm showing you right now, these Mark de Souvreaus and the Calder, were not designed specifically for this spot. So I'm going to retract that. Some of the de Souvreaus, I believe, were commissioned for the park, but I'm not sure which ones at this stage of the game. I know that the Calders were not commissioned for the park. They were pieces that were done by Calder. There is one that was specifically for the park that was installed in 1975, which was the year before he died. So the Mark de Souvreaus, actually, there were a collection of large-scale Mark de Souvreau pieces that were at the Whitney Museum. They were being disassembled and were going to go into storage, and they somehow or other connected to Storm King. And there were a set of, let's see, how many pieces was it? 5 monumental works by de Souvreau were moved up to Storm King, and that was the beginnings of the monumental scale sculptures that came in. And as you can see, Mozart's birthday. I mean, this guy, his sense of humor is really, really fun, but these things are gigantic. I mean, this thing, it's got a wingspan of 47 feet, for crying out loud. And if you notice how it looks like it could rock in the wind, well, yeah, it can. If there's a strong enough wind, those girders will rock on the piece. Really fun. I mean, frog's leg. Okay.
Larry?
Yes, go ahead.
Question.
Yes,
questions.
absolutely.
I'm not sure what the questions are.
Okay.
For your information, it's $80 a car?
It's not. It is $20 per person.
Okay.
In the car. And I will have a secret that I'll reveal to all of you at the end of this thing, which you may want to avail yourselves of.
Okay.
So yeah, it's according to how many people are in the car. It's $20 per person.
Okay. And also another question, somebody said the waves, but I don't know what that refers to.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Okay. And is there, that's for another exhibit in Connecticut, she said.
Okay.
So I think maybe it was a different exhibit. Okay.
Well, the waves are here. That's Maya Lynn, and okay. We'll get to her. Okay, so there's these spectacular red sculptures all over the place, and the question of why they do red. Well, most of the time this place is green. It's standing out against the foliage, so they go ahead and do that. Now, this particular piece, actually, let me see if I can get the zoom in up. Okay, right here. You can see the scale of this piece, with this person inside of it. So it's really just spectacular this time of year. I just love that. It was one of the better experiences that I've had going out to a sculpture park. I was running through this thing. I only got through about half of the park shooting these shots. I have been there before, but it was well over 6 years ago that I was there, so it was really a new experience. It was very fresh.
Larry,
Yes.
Somebody called it ZD on steroids.
ZD on steroids. There you go.
I love that.
Yep. So, Free Ride Home. Now, this piece is a fascinating piece. It's big. It's 60 by 60 by 30, and it shivers when the wind blows. It kind of quakes. It's stainless steel and aluminum. Been there since 1974. Okay, and now let's see next. All right, okay, and they have a fairly large David Smith collection. David Smith is one of the biggest names in 20th century American sculpture. The one on the right is called The Lady Painter. So he had a sense of humor about himself too. Now, there's really, he used very diverse materials. The one on the right is again welded stainless steel. The one on the left is bronze, but you can see the difference in the textures, the patina on the bronze, and the shiny quality of the painted stainless. Let's see, we're going to keep moving because I still got a lot to get through. All right, this is a Barbara Hapsworth. Very organic forms, beautiful, beautiful shapes. One of the foremost British sculptors of the 20th century. She and Henry Moore were really, kind of had a strong kinship as far as the organic quality of their work, the use of bones, the use of organic materials as the subject matter for their sculpture. And the piece on the right is, I believe it's called 9 Books and 2 Apples. And it's a David Smith homage to Cézanne, as far as I'm concerned. And you see the brushed stainless steel and all of that, the textures, the directionality, the planes, the way the light plays across the piece, really interesting stuff. You got to see it. You got to see it. You got to go and see these guys. If I had my video camera, I would definitely have moved around this piece because the way it changes in different vantage points is worth seeing. Let's see. And now we've got this wonderful Louise Nevelson piece, and the way this, organic atmosphere plays off of these geometric forms and the hard edges of this piece against the black, against the color, was really spectacular. If you move around to the other side of it and look back, there's a mansion that's on the property that's actually the museum center, and this piece plays off well against that too. But I wanted to get this side view of the piece too, so you could get some idea of the planes of the sculpture and see inside of it and see how it was kind of put together. Quite a wonderful piece. And again, 20 by 23 feet. These are not small pieces. And now we're back to Marc de Souvre. And this gives you some idea of the expansiveness of this experience of this place. These pieces are, you know, the one that's on the left is actually on a pivot, and again, if the wind is right, it's going to shift positions, which is amazing for something as huge as this, that it moves around in the wind. Amazing design work. You know, one of the things about Mark de Suvro is he was a construction worker along with being a sculptor. So his original pieces started out as construction debris and stuff like that. He used metal, recycled metal beams and wood sculpture. Now, these pieces are not that. These were definitely fabricated specifically for these pieces, but that's where he started from. They call him a abstract expressionist sculptor. I don't know exactly what that means. For me, de Suvro is de Suvro. There ain't nobody like this. You know, he's a remarkable sculptor. Okay. The piece on the right is, I believe it's called Mother Peace or something like that. You see the little peace sign in here? It was done in 1969, 1970. So, you know, the anti-war business was mixed in there. You know, a lot of these pieces have some topical relationship, but they're built to last. Okay. And now, this Grosvenor piece is really an incredible thing. It changes color with the sun. So down below here, you see it as white, and over here you see it as gray. And in the morning, when the light is coming from behind it, it looks stark black. It's really a remarkable piece. It's gigantic. It's 212 feet long by 10 feet high. You can see these people, so you can get a sense of the scale of the piece. And then on the left is Alice Aycock piece, low building with dirt roof. It's got plants growing out of the roof. It really was an homage from her family farm. It's something that she had actually built on the family farm. This low-lying structure. It's definitely into the earth. Let's see. We're gonna keep moving because there's more to see. On the left is a Tal Streeter piece. He actually was one of my instructors, one of my sculpture instructors at SUNY at Purchase. This piece originally was in Central Park, and they took it down and relocated it up here in the Storm King Park. And this guy on the right is George Sugarman. He was a painter, sculptor, and this piece was from, I guess it was from the 70s. I don't have the exact dates in front of me. Okay, and now on the left is Wave Field. This is the Maya Lin piece that was being asked about. There are actually 3 of these in existence. One is here. It's actually, you know, it was plowed up and created out of sodden earth. This was created in 2000, finished in 2008. the last time that I was up there, they were in the process of creating this. So it was 12 years ago the last time I was up there. And it's really an amazing piece. There's one in Michigan. There's one, I believe, down south in Virginia or something like that. I can't remember where the other two locations are for it. The other three locations are for it, but okay. And on the right is one of my favorite guys, Andy Goldsworthy. This is, they're calling it Storm King Wall, but I thought it was called Running Wall. Basically what he did was he created this drywall that ran through the woods, around the trees, and into the pond, and out the other side of the pond, and up, bordering the property. It actually is 2,278 feet long now. Originally, they had anticipated being about 500 feet long. When they got to the water's edge, he said, "Nah, I got to keep going."
Larry?
Yes.
Somebody thinks it was called, I thought it was called the wall. Oh, I just lost it. That went for a walk.
There's a number of different names for it.
It's very descriptive, right?
Yes. So, let's see. Okay. Next. Okay. And this was just a side shot of that Neruda's Gate by de Suvero. And just the way the light was hitting the thing, I was just like blown away by it. I had to get that shot in here. Basically, this is an experience. It's something that they're doing social distancing. You have to reserve your times to go up there. The weekends get booked up, so if you're going to try and get in there, within the next few weeks, book ahead for the weekend. During the week, I had no problems. I booked my time on Sunday, and they got me in on Wednesday. So, but I was late in the afternoon. I'm not complaining. I mean, I got perfect light for my needs, which was to take these photos. I just had such a ball doing this photo shoot, and I've got a lot more photos than what I could get in here. Andy Goldsworthy is one of my favorite artists. He works with materials from wherever the property is. That I'm going to go to previous. He works with whatever elements are available to him. So these stones were this was farmland. So there were a lot of drywalls that were around in the area. So he took all these stones from the local area. They were really domestic stones that he worked with. So he had to haul all this stuff over to the spot and set this thing up. He's a hardworking man. I mean, go ahead.
No, it's just something about Wave Field, the one that's on the left now.
Yes.
From someone. It says the first wave field installed at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor in 1995 is a 10,000 square foot grouping of earthen mounds. The highest 6 feet, they're shaped based on those of scientifically measured ocean waves. Whoa.
There you go. Yep.
Second piece, Flutter, covers 30,000 square feet in a plot near the federal courthouse in Miami. The undulant shapes, child size at 3 to 4 feet high, were inspired by the textures made in sand by the action of waves. Whoa, that's fascinating.
Yep, Myelin is really a great one. I mean, she did the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. For anybody who's seen that, that's her piece.
Somebody asked if you could walk on the waves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can. So Goldsworthy, basically many of his pieces are very transient. He'll set up, stone cairns in tidal areas so that the tides come in and kind of dismantle them and he'll take shots of them being hit by waves and coming apart, and he'll do shots of what they're like when they're in that leftover state. But he'll work with leaves, he'll work with sticks, he'll dig up pigments out of the earth and scatter them into a stream, and that's his piece. So he's a remarkable fellow also. Let's see. Okay, and I'm going to go to, okay. And they just did a Zoom interview yesterday with Andy Goldsworthy. I don't think it's up yet, but there are Vimeos that are available on the Storm King site that will let you listen to archived talks with the artists who are in the park, who are part of the park. Most of those are people who do residencies there and things like that. So there are many pieces, many more pieces than what I have shown you. There's like 2 more gigantic fields of installations that I didn't get to.
Larry?
So, yes.
Well, then right away we have a question. Can you do more photos in a part 2? If you have some, that's how excited people are.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, I would be more than happy to be persuaded to go back up there and do another photo shoot. My arm could be twisted in that direction. In fact, I heard about another really playful sculpture park in Gant, New York, that one of the artists who's in the Tilly Farm exhibit emailed me. So, you know, basically Inez Andrusik had emailed me about that place, and I took a look at their website, and that one looks like fun too. So, hey, I'm open.
It would be nice to go places that we might not be able to go so easily.
Yes.
Winter's coming in.
Well, all of these are places that we can go, and they're safe to go to. So that's part of the idea. Well,
thank you.
Yes, if there are any questions, ask now. Otherwise, go to the websites.
I've been interrupting you enough, so I don't think, you know, each one of those questions was relevant to what was on the screen, so.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you all. Next week, I am going to attempt to do the Clark, which is you know, basically it's in upstate, you know, Massachusetts, in the Berkshires, and so, you know, maybe I'll do Storm King Part 2 the first week in November, but we'll see how that plays out.
Larry, you also mentioned while you were talking in the very beginning that you were going to tell us how to save money going to Storm King.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Somebody asked.
This is a big one. So what there is the, I'm going to get my card out and hold it up to this. This is the American Alliance of Museums. And if you are a senior citizen, you can join as a senior for $50 a year. It gets you into the museums, like, you know, you go to a couple goes to the Museum of Modern Art, and your $50 is right there. This gets you into Storm King, 2 people, okay? This gets you into the Guggenheim, 2 people, the Whitney, 2 people. Let's see, where else? The Metropolitan, of course, but that's donation anyway. But Jewish Museum, the major museums around the country. If you go to DC, it gets you into the Smithsonian, it gets you into the Hirshhorn. It'll get you into museums locally. You know, the Neuberger honors it. You know, so basically, this is something to have. So if you go to the American Alliance of Museums website, you can sign on to that. Now, it is supposed to be for museum workers. I qualified because I'm the curator of the gallery, but they do not check into it, and you can join as a senior.
That's really good news.
Yeah.
For $50.
For $50.
That's quite good. That's
yep.
Good
okay.
Okay. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye, Larry.
Bye.